No idea what we're doing. So just try this out. YouTube's always telling me to go live. I always feel like it's not the best place for that, but once in a while I'll see people do Q&As with their audiences. So wait till a couple people get in here. If anybody at all comes in, I have no idea how this will go. Get a thumbnail up. Yo, what's up, guys? All right, Ethan and Will. I have arrived. Connor, yo, Connor's in the house. What's up? Yo, we got solid crew already. Ethan, Will, and Connor. What's up, guys? Don't mind me. I'm just trying to put something up on Instagram to show that we're up here. How's everybody doing tonight? What are you guys up to? All right, that should be up. Turn fucking Wi-Fi off on my phone. Cool. Yo, thanks for coming to hang out, guys. I'm thinking maybe every year I'll just do Thanksgiving Eve hangout on here. Um, and do like a year recap or something, I guess. Smoking ribs. Oh, fuck yeah, man. What kind of smoke are you doing? Dub shed meeting and chilling before bed. Deviled eggs. Ugh. Oh, I hate deviled eggs, man. I hate eggs in period, so I can't imagine I would like deviled eggs. So, I don't know. I don't know. We got a couple questions from Instagram, so that helps a bit. Then hopefully get some other people drumming up some questions. Uh S14 OCP asked me what UK or Euro cars do I wish I could own? Volkswagen or whatever. And that's a good question because there's quite a few. I'd say first and foremost the fact that Europe gets the Golf R Mark 7 in a wagon. That's what I'm pretty jealous of. That's probably the most recent thing that I would honestly spend the money on getting. When I bought mine, I would have like saved up the extra money to have gotten it in a wagon form. So it's a shame that we don't get it here, but according to USA market, wagons are kind of dead and um wagons are supposedly dead and SUVs and crossovers are where it's at. Apple and hickory on the ribs, getting ready to break out the secret stash of mermaid. Oh, dude, I'm jealous. I've been missing the mermaid barbecue sauce train lately. I see he's put up a couple batches of it, but I've not been fortunate enough to get my hands on anything recently. So shit, I used my last bottle of that stuff maybe 2 years ago. So cars in the UK that I would like to own, like the Mark 7 Golf R wagon is a big one. That's pretty high up there. I can't recall if that comes with a sunroof or not. If it comes with the sunroof, no, count me out. Let's not even talk about hypotheticals because if we're going to start changing things about how it's offered, where do you stop? Because the Golf R should have came with the 2.5, the the 2.55 cylinder turbo. So there's that. There's the Caddy Sport. If you guys don't know what the Caddy Sport is, it is a Mark One Rabbit pickup, as we know them here in the States, and it's a just Google Mark One VW Caddy Sport, and you'll see there's kind of a. I think there's a way that I could add start a Q&A. Oh, okay. So what? I'm sorry, guys. This is the first time I'm going live on YouTube, so bear with me as I figure it out. There's all these features and stuff down here. I think if we do this again, I could make it fancier and have overlay to show you guys this stuff as I talk about it. But yeah, thank you, Ethan. Caddy Sport. The biggest thing about them is the body kit that they have. It's kind of like looks similar to a Mark One Cabbie clipper kit. So those are super cool because It's the only Rabbit pickup that comes with a body kit like that. Fender flares, side skirts, front and rear lips, I think. I can't remember if it's got a rear lip or not. All right. Let's see. Start Q&A. I don't what is this? Oh, no, I don't like this. I can't see the chat. Okay. Okay, I think I got this figured out. Xender Z4 or Z20, if you remember correctly. Yeah, I never looked into the specifics. I just know that back when I owned my truck, if you'd look up sport truck, you'd often get results for caddy sport. So very cool to see those. Those are fucking awesome. Um, Europe also gets the Tiguan R, the actual R with a spicy motor, and like I don't know if it comes with if you get it with a manual transmission or not. But Europe gets the actual Tiguan R, which is super fucking cool, and I wish we got that here. Another car that I would probably consider saving up to buy, um, especially after getting to own the R and knowing what that platform was about. To the R line stuff that we get here is just like cosmetic bullshit. So no rear lip on the Caddy Sport, tapers off at the end of the bedside into the tube rear bumper. Yeah, I couldn't remember what they had going on, but the side skirts with the flares and the front lip, man, it's such a nice looking truck. And then it's got pinstriping from the factory too. So definitely go look up the Caddy Sport, people, if you're not sure, if you're wondering what that's all about. Very cool truck. So there's a Tiguan R. There's the Golf R wagon. There's the Caddy Sport. What other cars would I own from the UK that we don't get here? What cars would you guys own from the UK? You guys in the chat. What would you guys get if you could pick? What's the one unobtainium thing that we don't get in the States here? Trying to think if there's anything else. There's surely some like old stuff that you can import now, so it's hard to say what I would get. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on the stuff that Europe got that we didn't. There's stuff like the rally, of course. The golf rally is pretty fucking dope, but now we could get that here. Mark III Ford Capri Laser. The new Scirocco. Yeah, the new Scirocco R. I'm not gonna lie. That is a two-door that I wouldn't hate owning. That's for sure. There's the four-door R32 for the Mark IVs. The 337 in Europe you could get in red, and the back seat arm has an armrest that folds out and says Recaro and GTI like the front seats do. There's a bunch of different variations of cars that Europe got that we didn't. So I mean, we could talk about this all night. I'm drawing a blank now. I should have done a little work was a little hectic. Will, I'm not ignoring your question about madness. I'm just staying, not trying to get too scatterbrained. We'll get to that in a second. Early Polo, probably for modern stuff. I think before Motion TDI, Wagoner, Polo, GTI. The Polos, there's the newer Polos and the Up GTIs. What is basically now the same size as what a Mark One is. I love the GTI. I loved my Mark 7. It is a bigger car. I didn't ever think that the car felt too big, but obviously, if you're really looking for a true tiny hot hatch, the Mark 7s, and all these newer cars in the USA are much bigger than what Europe gets. We have smart cars and stuff here, but we don't get like the Up GTI and the Polo GTI, which are so cool. All the four motion and synchro stuff, man, there's so much cool stuff Europe gets. So Will, you asked if I was gonna go to Madness this year. Yes, we'll be there. If the van event that we went to this past year is on the same weekend, we're still gonna focus on mainly going to the van show. But the difference is this year we will make sure we bring one of the Mark Ones with us. We'll tow it down there with us, or one of us will drive it, and then we'll turn it into like a 5-day trip. I'm thinking go to the campground early so we don't feel like we're missing out on the camping there. And then so that we don't feel like we're wasting more time driving around than we are enjoying either events. And then Saturday day, we'll pack our shit up. Not pack our shit up, but Saturday early morning, we'll jump in the Mark One, head to Madness for a day trip, and then stay there till the sun starts to go down and head back to the van show. I love Madness. Don't get me wrong. It's just is a very intense work weekend for me every time I go, and it sucks, but it's also really fun at the same time. Because if it sucked that bad, I just wouldn't film. But that's the thing. Like I get there and I just, even if I tell myself not to bring a camera with me, I'm still gonna be breaking out my phone and suddenly regretting not having my camera. So whenever I go to Madness, it's strictly a filming thing for me. There's every single Madness I've been to, I've had to film and turn into a work weekend for me. So I am very much looking forward to going next year. Last year was the only first year I missed since I first went in like 2015. And COVID too. Everybody missed the COVID year. Um, but yeah, so if that same van event we went to this past year is on the same weekend, then we'll drag a Mark One or another Volkswagen with us and take it up there for a day trip because it's about 2.5 or 3 hours away, so it is doable. But it is just a lot of driving to be there for what's going to be 6 or 7 hours. So the other thing, every time I'm at Madness, I get so damn drunk that every Saturday and Sunday I'm just hungover as shit. And come Saturday show day, I'm like pounding beers and stuff to stay get away from the hangover. And it's usually pretty hot. So I am not watching the World Cup. I don't watch any ball sports at all. I don't watch any sports, period. Even the racing that I was into years ago, I did not watch any. I don't watch racing. I can't. I like watching like rally highlight reels and stuff like that. Like I'll go on YouTube and watch like an hour compilation of like the Goodwood Festival or whatever big rally event, but I don't watch F1 racing. I can't watch MotoGP. It all just gets very repetitive to me and ball sports especially are super fucking boring to me. So I really don't care for any of that stuff. Um, we're backtracking a little bit. Brazilias are pretty sweet. Brazilias are dope. The docas, which we didn't really get here, you get those in the synchro. Uh, freaking Brazil got the Matador, I think it was called. Uh, man, there's so many cool Volkswagens that America doesn't get. We did get the ABA, so Europe can fuck all the way off with that, but Europe's got the VR5, which is pretty sick. Pretty sick. I mean, I'll just stick with our regular inline fives that we get here. You know what Europe didn't get? Europe didn't get the quantum synchro wagons. So we got that over them. Yeah, you guys can buy it. You guys didn't get this beauty. Look at that. You guys ever seen such a fine piece of machinery? Quantum synchro wagon. If you don't know, you're fucking up. Go look it up, people. Pro wrestling? No, I don't watch pro wrestling either, man. I don't watch a lot at all. I really don't have time to watch any sort of sporting events like that, to be honest. Maybe a lot of work, but we appreciate that work so much. It's all madness. I still rewatch all the madness videos over and over to keep me going until next madness. Thank you, dude. I it's a lot of fun for me, so I don't mean to make it sound like madness is just a dreaded work weekend for me. I just a lot of people asked why I wasn't at Madness this year, and when I told them, oh, it's nice to take a break, and there was a different event going on that we would have rather go to, and I needed a break. They're like, "What do you mean you need a break?" And it's try to explain to them how intensive it is, but the other obviously it's a lot of fun for me to do, but it is the best part about it is just seeing you guys get hyped up for the next year, or just get hyped up, and the videos just never quite do justice for what that weekend is like, but it's always fun. It's fun. It's good to get the coverage and show everybody all the Mark Ones that just literally come flocking. It is a lot of fun. So thank you guys for watching. And I mean, really, the madness videos are what pushed me to end up on here. Ultimately, I'm doing these madness videos, and like every few years, you go to watch one of the older ones, and the fucking quality is even lower on Facebook. And for a while, they were muting videos that had non-copyrighted, that had copywritten music. So getting to play around a bit, and the madness videos are definitely a lot of fun. People think they're the main character. You're not there to serve them. You do you. Yeah, I mean, it's not so much that. Just people. People. I'd say there was a good amount of people that ended up going to Madness once they started seeing videos. I mean, the event doubled in size several years in a row once I started making videos for it. So there is just like a. I don't think they mean it in a bad way. I never take it as them being malicious or negative about like nagging me about why I didn't go to Madness, but like um I get it. I totally get it because there still were a couple good videos from this previous year, but um definitely helps for me knowing as many people as I do there, being able to shove the camera in their faces, and that translates into putting out a video that truly makes you feel like you're there. So I get it. I get why people are bummed if I couldn't make it there, and this we'll be there this year for sure. If that van event's not on the same weekend, then we'll be there the whole weekend again. So, um, when's this stupid market gonna go back to what it was? Man, I don't know. I don't know, man. I really don't know if it's gonna go back. I am not as bothered by it as most other people because it's like you could still find these deals out there, and you could still find people who don't want to make a killing and just want to get the thing sold. Prime example right now is this RV I'm trying to sell. I got some guy who's probably going to come from Boston to buy it because he just knows it's like cool. It's not a steal of a deal, but like he's gonna spend twice as much finding something closer to him. So what I'm getting at here is like if you're willing to travel and search around and get into all these different groups, like if there's a certain Audi you're trying to buy, you got to get super involved with the Audi community. And unfortunately, you do have to hound social media all day long if you really don't want to miss any of these deals that pop up. You still see it. You still see $5,000 Mark One GTIs popping up, and those are going for crazy money now. So you'll still see decent ones pop up once in a while, and it's like, yeah, the deals are out there. You just have to be ready to drive out to the middle of the country to go get it sometimes, unfortunately. So sucks that the market's the way it is. I don't know. I don't see it going back down. I see it settling down a bit, but it's definitely never going to go back down to where it was 2 or 3 years ago. Matt Johnson, Mr. Rabbit on Instagram asked me, where do babies come from? They come from the same place where your pee is stored, which is in the balls. So let's see. I don't think, yeah, nobody's submitting questions on here on this chat. So we're just sticking with the. I only have two others on here, and the other two questions I have are from Ethan. So shout out to you, Ethan, for submitting this stuff on Instagram earlier. I'll check back in a bit, see if anybody's submitted. Can you recommend a free video editing software? Just for random shit I film on my iPhone, and I love that question because I get asked all the time. People ask me what editing software they should download or buy to start messing around with videos. If you have an iPhone, you already have it by default. Um, oh, did you submit a few? I'll refresh. Well, I'm sorry. I'm going to refresh. I'm not. I'm not. I'm going to check Instagram in a bit once I get through these next two questions. So I'll double check, especially since you're telling me that you submitted them. And then if I can't find them, then we'll get to that in a minute. So Ethan was asking if about editing video editing software, specifically free video editing software, and on an iPhone. iPhones come from the factory with iMovie, which is what I recommend all the time. Anytime somebody approaches me and asks me what software to use, I recommend iMovie. For Windows and Samsungs, I don't know what software comes by on their thing by default, so I never quite know what to tell people if they don't have an iPhone. Good luck, go figure it out. But chances are there's a free software that comes with it. And the iMovie on your phone has just enough tools for you to cut and layer stuff and put music over stuff. Sometimes you'll need to go and watch a video somewhere else, screen record the video, move that video into iMovie, and then you could detach the audio from there. I know that one of the trickiest things is like the clunkiest things with on your editing on your phone is like getting music put over. Usually, I think by default, if you go add music, it's only going to go from your iTunes library. So the way I go about doing it, even if I'm editing a video to put just on Instagram once in a while, if I'm doing it over a real audio, sometimes I'll download that, screen record that reel so I could yank the audio so that it's synced up to the footage I'm editing. But basically, iMovie, I don't mean to get sidetracked and get into the nitty gritty details of exactly what you got to do to edit on iMovie, but it's capable enough to give you a couple basic things. And if you're crafty with it, you could push it pretty far. In fact, iMovie is what I edited all the early Madness videos on, and even when I first started, the early YouTube videos are all done on iMovie as well. The only difference is those are done on um, it's in the other room. My old Apple computer was a Mac Mini, which is basically just a cube that's like this big and like that thick, and it's like a desktop, super cheap computer. At the time, it was like $800 for me to buy, but it was at the time was potent enough for me to start. It's powerful enough for me to start editing like GoPro videos on and stuff. So iPhones have it on their on your phone by default. If not, you can go download it from the App Store for free, and it's capable enough on your phone to just do basic editing, especially if you're doing like tutorial stuff. You could chop out all the dead air or all the fumbling, or if you're stumbling over your words, you can chop that out pretty easily on iMovie. And then even still, if you want to go past that and take it a bit more serious, and you have an Apple computer, again, iMovie's on there by default. I bought Final Cut Pro a while back, and there's still another program I'm going to recommend that's not an Apple program. Um, so we'll get to that in a bit. But iMovie comes for free. Final Cut Pro is like a $300 program, which is basically iMovie on steroids. It's an Apple program, and it's a similar layout, but not really. But all the tools are similarly named. It's basically just like the more professional video editing software if you're an Apple user and swear by Apple products. It's streamlined to integrate with the other stuff on Apple. All the other third party apps, too, so you could make it all work smooth and seamlessly. Uh, but the other app that's totally free and as powerful, if not more powerful than Final Cut Pro, is DaVinci Resolve. If you Google DaVinci Resolve video editing, it'll pop right up. That's a computer only program. I don't know if they have it on your phone, but again, if you're gonna go taking it that serious, uh, chances are you're gonna be starting to work and edit videos on a computer at that point. So yeah, iMovie's free. Final Cut Pro is a couple bucks. And then what's equally potent as Final Cut Pro, if not more potent, is DaVinci Resolve. I'm just stuck using Final Cut Pro, which we won't dive into that. Just personal preference. Started using Final Cut Pro before I found out about DaVinci. So, um, Robbie D, we're gonna bounce back and forth. Ethan, you got another question we'll get into after this. Um, and then Will, not gonna forget about you. Robbie D just asked, what car have you owned for the longest time and the shortest? The longest time was the sport truck. I had that for 8 years, and that was a pretty good run. Before that was my first 337. I bought that in 2006 and sold it 2021. So that was a 5 or 6 year run with that car. That's probably the second longest I've owned a car. And the shortest that I've owned a car, that's a tough question. The shortest I've owned a car. The shortest car I've owned and the shortest the Quantum Synchro wagon. It's a little blurry, but I had a Quantum Synchro wagon, which is basically a B2 Passat. I owned that for close to a year, but I only got to drive it for 2 months before I got rear-ended. I bought it. I spent the first like 2 months fixing it up, getting it back onto the road, getting it roadworthy, doing brakes and stuff. And one snowy day, I got rear-ended by somebody because I was stopping to yield for a snowplow truck coming around the turn. Actually, this was right by your freaking house, Bobby. Not you. Yeah, I'm sorry. Thought it said Bobby D. Robbie. Bobby, slow it down. This I got rear-ended right by your house, man. Right by that light near CVS. I had stopped for a plow truck, and this idiot on summer tires. I saw it coming from a mile away, and I couldn't get it back into gear and start rolling fast enough. I just see him sideways, like a couple feet off my bumper, and just blasted the back of that car. So I owned it for about a year, but I only got to drive it for about 2 months. And then there was the music video car. I only owned that and drove that for a few months. It's nothing super crazy of like me owning a car for 2 weeks and selling it, but definitely under a year. And if you wanted to get like a little loose on the rules, that the Quantum was probably the shortest I got to own and enjoy. So that was um that was a big bummer. All right, let me just jump over to Instagram real quick and see if these other questions are there from Will. Oh, that would be U16 GTI, right? Yes. I think, or was that Ugly Bastard? I don't know. You guys got different names and stuff. All right, so Ugly Bastard on Instagram said, "Which product would you rather eat? Hot dog, but it's fish, not fish stick, or favorite cereal, but it's brand flavor?" I would probably go for the hot dog, but it's fish, because I like fish, and I think I could get past that barrier. I don't really eat cereal, so is it better to be is it better to be a stan or a hater? Ugly Bastard also asked. Oh, I don't know, man. They're neither. You have to be both at times. People call me a hater. Like years ago, people would always just call me a hater when I would talk shit about something, but like I will openly and publicly talk shit about something and hate on something when that person or that car or that thing is deserving of that hate. I'm very slow to like jump on the fanboy wagon for stuff. I can't stand when people will just blindly obsess over stuff and not like think there's nothing wrong, because those are the people that when a shitty person shows their character, those are the people who unfortunately allow that person to still have a foundation. This RX-8 that you guys have all seen, the one that burned down to the ground, prime example. That dude's a sex offender. That dude's a chomo, and it's disgusting to see that there are enough people out there that don't know this and blindly support this guy with a GoFundMe. Um, I hate that guy, period, because he's just a shitty person with his car build, and to see what's gone down with that car blowing up and the blame he's averting or whatever he's trying to dress it up as is one thing, and not it's not doesn't surprise me. But this brought up people showing his court case for a sexual assault charge, and that's what really 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 bothers me about that, is that somebody who's got a sexual assault charge and is a fucking chomo has a GoFundMe started for them. So like, and that's only propped up by people who are blind fanboys. Haters can be equally damaging, but not as damaging. So I think if I had to pick, be a stan or be a hater, I'd be a hater. Um, Why are Mark IVs the best? They're not. So we're not even gonna waste the airtime talking about that. They're awesome. I think more specifically, the anniversary editions, now that I own one again, have reminded me that it is a very, very good platform for a few reasons. We won't obsess and fanboy over it, but the Mark IVs are up there, but they're not the best. I don't know which one is the best, but it ain't the Mark IVs. All right, back to the chats here. Um, Bobby, you asked about dream build or dream bought car. Realistically, the 190e Evo. I said it to myself the other day. Well, I said it to Rachel on the phone after I spotted that one in the wild on the streets. The Mercedes 190e Evo. I think that's going to be my realistic dream car, like Chase. Not going to be anytime soon, but like I think if I ever do get some crazy like a actual dream car, the Lotus was a dream car. The Golf R that I had was a dream car. I've had a few dream cars by now, but like they're more so bucket list items. So it's really hard for me to nail down a dream car. Like the dream car would be an F40, hands down. But there's no way I'm dropping $1.5 million on a car anytime soon. And by the time I do have that kind of money to spend on a car, that's going to be like a $2 or $3 million car. So the 190e Evo is up there, pretty high up there. If not, maybe like a Porsche 911 of sorts, or some kind of Audi 5 cylinder. No, that's not really dream car status to me. I don't know. The E30 whatever M5s, the BMWs with the man pedal and the V8, those are becoming dream car prices. I'd love to own one of those one day, but so Mark IVs are amazing in their own ways. The Mark IV R32 is amazing. The 337s, 20ths, and GLIs are amazing because they come with 6-speed transmissions, which are so much better suited for the 18T. They come with bigger brakes. They come with lowered factory suspension. They come with the body kit, Recaros, nicely done up, tastefully done interiors. Though I think the 20ths have too much aluminum trim, and the gray stitching does it a disservice. But the 337, 20th GLIs, all amazing cars because they have the good bare bones. Like it's the perfect recipe that makes for a good car. Good responsive brakes, bigger brakes than what needs to be on the car. Body kit to make them look good. They're lowered. They have nice wheels, and the transmission is a huge one. Such a huge thing that if you've never driven the 6-speed with the 180, you have no idea what you're missing out on. That motor is such a fucking slug with the 5-speed. So, um, Will, I hope your questions were in there. Oh yeah, okay. You ugly bastard. Okay, that's your name. Cool, got it. Understood. Ethan had another question. He asked about, are there any cars that slipped through your fingers that you wish you had owned? That's another tough one because there's so many cars I want to own, and I'm sure there's a few of you watching that are as compulsive as I am with buying shit or wanting to buy shit. Uh, I'd say one that you probably know of is Connor's pickup that Clint ended up buying. Um, I kind of had a big hard on for trying to buy that and reaching out to Connor and told him when he wants to sell it, like, please let me know. And that was like a year or so before he actually sold it to Clint. And Clint was obviously closer friends with him, so he got first crack at it. Um, the silver rabbit that I own right now, that was a car that slipped out of my fingers 2 separate times. It didn't really slip out of my fingers because it stayed within DCI for now. I'm now the 4th owner in DCI that owns that car. So it didn't really slip away entirely, but the 2 times it came up for sale before I could get a hold of it, I wasn't in the place to buy it. But that's a car that I've been watching and trying to buy for 5+ years now. Probably 4, probably close to 5 years now. I've been trying to buy that silver rabbit that I now own. So that car slipped through my fingers. But unfortunately I was able to get it. Cars that slip through my fingers. No, I can't say there's many because if I like have if I'm that obsessed with it, I usually go through some crazy shit to go and get it and make it happen. Like the Dasher is a prime example of me going, I need to buy that, and this is the time to buy it because I'm not going to get like who knows when the next one that pops up will be. I wasn't even actively looking for that car. I just had always told myself I want a Dasher wagon one day. When it pops up for sale, I have to have one. It was always one of those cars that pops up, and uh I had the 2004 Passat wagon, which was arguably a way more reliable car and more responsible car for me to own. That I said I could sell this for the amount of money that I need to buy the Dasher for. And I committed to buying the Dasher before I even had a buyer lined up for the Passat wagon. And even still, I would have had the money or found the money or sold other stuff to go get that car. So I can't really say there's many cars that have slipped through my fingers. There's lots of cars that I see. I'd be like, oh, I'd love to own that. Plenty of cars like that, but there's so many of them I honestly can't keep track. What's the best Thanksgiving dessert and why is it apple pie? Because it's the best fucking dessert. I'm with you on that, dude. It is the best Thanksgiving dessert and arguably the best dessert, period. That you get hot apple pie. It's got to be the crumb apple pie though. If it's gonna be like the regular crust with the lattice on top or just a regular crust on top, that thing better make up for it with the spices on the inside. It's got to be very, very nicely seasoned and spiced for it to be. Um, hey, Mike, just stopping in. Have a nice stream. Thanks again for the rabbit hole page. Luke, dude, thanks for joining and helping make it happen, dude. Really, really, that page is because of you guys. So thank you to everybody who's in that group who's watching right now. Shout out to all of you guys who jumped in and made that page happen. Seriously, it's because of you guys. So thanks for stopping in, Luke. But apple pie. Back to apple pie being the best dessert, potentially the best dessert, if not the best dessert, best Thanksgiving dessert, if not the best dessert. Period. Um, it's got to be the crumb topped, like apple crumb pie. And then you got to get just regular good vanilla bean ice cream. You got to get like a good gallon of it. Got to be heavy on the vanilla bean. So, yeah. Um how did I end up in DCI? It's just showing up to their Toys for Tots and next thing you know, I'm getting beer dunked on me and I'm getting punched in the nuts. So, here we are a couple years later. Awesome group of people to be involved with. So, um I was told. All right, I think that's all the questions we have on Instagram. Let me refresh that. Oh, damn. Yeah, like this is the kind of shit that pops up on my feed. I'll jump on Instagram while I'm making a video to go grab like screenshots to reference somebody's thing. And this is what I open my phone to. This is why it takes me forever to edit videos sometimes. Like what? A toter home with what's in the back? All right, not many pictures, but that's what they got for the interior somewhere. This looks like a, if I had to guess, this might just be, we think this is an old Richard Petty team hauler. Okay, so this looks like it was a rolling shop for Richard Petty. This is fucking sick. This is so sick. I bet you it's a two-stroke diesel too. Oh, okay. The car goes up on top of the workbenches. Look at that. There's rollers and hooks right there on top of the workbench. So if I had to guess, they roll the car up on there. So they've got a pit. They've got a rolling pit to work on these cars. That is so cool. Man, dude, I would love to buy some shit like that and turn it into. How much do I regret not buying the Terminator X earlier when it was in stock? Man, I don't want to talk about it, man. I don't want to talk about it. I didn't even know it wasn't in stock. You just had to do that. Just had to. Mark IV GTI was the best. Always wanted an R32, but money. Yeah, dude, they've always been expensive. They're at the point of no return now. Just bought a Mark One Caddy. Wanted one for 10 years now, which is how I found your channel. Fuck yeah, dude. Thanks for coming by and thanks for coming by and watching the channel. It's pumped to hear. I hope you have good luck with it. If you have anything you're trying to figure out with it, I don't have as in depth of a library on the channel here as I want. I want to do a break upgrade video. I think the next video I'm going to talk about is the informational video I'm going to talk about is cooling system. So I know they're not the most organized, and sometimes most of the time we're just looking at parts on the floor or me pointing at shit on the cars rather than actually doing the work. But if you go to the channel, you'll see there's a playlist for beginner's guide and then another playlist for how to tutorial type stuff. So we got stuff on there like how to adjust the valves, how to yank the head and do the head gasket, suspension upgrades. You got all sorts of good stuff. So if you're looking for any kind of informational stuff, Alex, go check the playlists on the channel itself. Good thing we have a part C10 laying around. Good thing, no, actually, good thing we're not in some kind of crazy rush to get the LS swap done. So I'll order it. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I'll give you a call tomorrow, Matt. We'll talk about the van stuff. And I'm actually gonna get some stuff ordered this week. It's been so crazy trying to get Rachel's car sold, get the RV sold, and work's been crazy. I got both the dogs down here this week and stuff, so I haven't had a fucking sec. I really should be like, I shouldn't even be on this live stream. I should be ordering parts right now for the van. Um, sounds fantastic, dude. You're such a dad without being a dad. It's not even funny. You can drive out to any New England shows in 23. Yeah, dude, we're gonna do something pretty cool in 2023. As long as my house sells as I expect it to, and it goes the way I hope it does. We're gonna do a lot of things next summer, going to a lot of places. Vag Fair is the biggest thing. I mean, I've missed it every year, and every year I hear about how cool or great it is, and I continue to not make the time for it, and it's unfortunate. But this coming summer, schedule should be wide open. So, guys, give me like 2 seconds. I got the fireplace going. I just gotta check on it real quick. I'll be back in like 5 seconds. All right, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, yeah, of course, calling me out. Fuck you guys. I don't want to burn the house down. So, what other shows are worth checking out in New England? Oh, Nick Kramarchik is doing that show in New England. I gotta make sure I make it out to there as long as there's nothing conflicting. That's a New England show we're going to. Vag Fair and Nick Kramarchik's show. If you guys don't follow him already, My Golf is Slow on Instagram. He's doing the show. That's what I'm talking about. So those two. Dude, the revival motoring things are awesome. I'll definitely make it out to some of those. I was able to make it out to one or two of those things in the past, and those guys are a great group of people, and their turnouts are always like super quality. There's just such a nice slew of like quality cars that show up of all like walks of life. You get all sorts of cool shit that shows up there. So if anybody's ever thinking about going to catch one of Revival Motoring's donut meets, it's the shit. So yeah, dude, let's go. I'm down to take whatever, dude. We could take whatever. We do. We could get a convoy going up there. It's only like I think it was like 3 hours, 3.5 hours away when I drove there. Um, and what you do is you just go get. There's a hotel right around the corner, and there's some decent stuff. Chuck was more than accommodating with giving me some recommendations of stuff to go check out when I spent the night up there. So shit. No longer gonna support Wolfsguard. It's a circus in the worst ways. Sorry to hear that. Maybe you could shoot me a message, Will, and let me know more specifically. I'd be curious to know because if it's that bad, then I don't definitely would rather avoid any kind of shitty shows that this happens with a lot of brands and shows. People focus more on growing their brand and they end up diluting it in the process. And I think that's part of what keeps Madness great is because there's only so many Mark ones around and there's only so much space, and it's like you really have to be into those cars to want to spend 3 days in the woods around them. So Mark One Madness is kind of got a natural lid on it, but there's all these big shows all across the East Coast that and brands in general that these guys grow it and don't focus on not diluting it. So it's a one of my favorite sayings is grow your brand, don't dilute it. And it's a tough battle. It's not always like it's obviously not intentional most of the time that these guys want to just let their show turn to shit. But where do you find all these meats? I only knew of Waterfest and H2O. Wow, Waterfest. Damn, dude, taking it back, Alex. Um, and anybody saying Waterfest is still a thing? No, Waterfest is not a thing. Waterfest stopped being a thing when when Mark Sixes came out. Really, it just grew too big. It grew too big, and naturally is just mostly show cars. My favorite thing about Waterfest and Show and Go, who remembers Show and Go? That was the real shit. Spring and fall Show and Go were some of the best shows around. My favorite part was just going and drag racing there though. So it's a shame that it's there no more. So where do you find all these meets though? So Instagram, um Facebook, if you more specifically, Alex, if you're not already in the Facebook group, make sure you jump in there. I'll type it in the chat right now. Mark One Rabbit Hole on Facebook. Look up that group and join it, and look for the featured pin post at the top, and there is an event and show schedule. It's very thin right now. This weekend, I'm finally gonna have some time to sit down on the computer and get a lot of these posts updated and get links added to them. But that's gonna be a good spot for you to keep an eye on and see where these bigger shows are. If there's any meets popping up, like please guys let me know and I'll get them added to that list. But basically just Instagram and people sharing flyers and stuff is how you end up finding out where all these meets are and stuff. So um, if you want to message me somewhere, Alex, more directly, I can find out where you are and get you in the loop on some of these other meets. Um, the donut meet is in Rhode Island, though. Like Will said, there's Revival Motoring podcast on Instagram. They'll post the flyers up on there once in a while when they host them. It's in where in Rhode Island, Ethan? It is in East Providence, I believe. I mean, Rhode Island's small, so can't be more than an hour or two away from you if you're that close to it. Um, But yeah, they've got a sick spot down there. Very cool spot. New England needs an old school pre Mark III meet. New England had well, New England itself, yeah, maybe. New England's pretty spread out, and I think you guys have a lower abundance of cars up there. So I think you could get away with a Mark One and Two and air cooled meet weekend long show. I don't know, man. There's been saying this a lot lately. There's too many shows and events to catch, and just not enough time to catch them all. So, I liked Show and Go for getting a couple guys together to sell off all our old junk at the vendor spots. Yeah, Show and Go was awesome, and I think the best part about it was that they had a fall and spring Show and Go. You had twice a year rather than just one giant water fest every year. You had two shows. If you had to miss one or didn't want to catch both, you could catch the other. And the crowds were just it was just less intense and more of like that, more of a utility rather than a show and go felt like. So, yo, Ethan, you got to get out to one of the donut meets, man. Bring your rabbit out there. Great group of guys, and then again, just the turnouts are dope. The turnouts there are always really good. Turnouts are good, and the location's a good spot. And if you're that close to it, like it's for me, it's worth a few hour drive for me to go there when I have the time. This past year was so fucking crazy. I had two of their events on my calendar that I had to bail on. So make sure you get out there. Uh, where we at? We're at 51 minutes long. I think I'm gonna keep this to an hour. Anybody got anything else they want to anybody have any other questions or things they want to talk about? Um, just double checking this inbox real quick. Okay, Jason Pizer. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Jason, what would you do with an old Drake 8 valve 1.6 race motor? I'm trying to decide between a stock bottom, the Porsche pistons from the factory, from the race motor, or new pistons. I don't know, man. Hey, Will, thanks for jumping in, man. It was awesome to have you in here. Seriously, thanks for your support. Um, what would you do with an old Drake 8 valve 1.6 race motor? I don't know, man. What are you gonna do with it? What's it going in? What are you gonna do with the car that it goes into? I don't even know the specifics of what makes these Drake motors as intense as they are. Um, I feel like calling it a Drake race motor, like how much is done to it. Stock bottom, the Porsche pistons from the race motor or new pistons. The stock bottom's not a bad idea because I feel like half of the magic in those motors is going to be in the head, and you could still benefit from putting a stock bottom in there. You just might not be able to turn it to 9 or 10,000 RPMs. It's tough. I'm always nervous about. I don't think I would ever pull the trigger on a motor like that because I'd always be nervous about it just letting itself go and windowing the block. Um, and that's a lot of money. 81 Scirocco S, big valve, super heavy pistons. Yeah, so it revs to the moon. I don't know, man. I would say a stock bottom and dial it back a bit just so you could utilize the head. I mean, I had oversized valves in the sport truck and stuff, and it definitely woke it up. I have a video showing the difference even in the quarter mile of a stock head versus a big valve head, and it half the magic's is in the head. Trying to turn that motor to its intended RPM would make me nervous. Unless you don't give a fuck and you don't care if you window the block, then put some new pistons in it. If money's not an option, put some new equivalent pistons in it, just so you know that's one less thing to worry about, and you know the bearings are fresh and all that. And just send it. Any suggestions on where to send a 1.8T ECM for immobilizer removal? No, I have no idea where. I've been so out of touch with Mark IV tuning for so many years that I really don't know where to recommend. I actually just reached out to Edge Motors today to ask him if he's still doing APR tunes on Mark IVs. I know the EPA is cracking down on all that shit. So I don't even know if I want to tune my car, but it's just something I want to at least think about. Maybe I want to. Maybe I want to tune it while I still can and just leave it in the stock tune. I think I have the self control to actually turn the tune off if I'm not like going for a spirited drive. Um, kind of no fucks, no money. Yeah, that's the problem, man. Money's a limiting factor. That's an expensive motor that you could end up just windowing the, the second time you take it out. That's the only thing that always makes me nervous. Every time I see those Drake motors getting posted and stuff, I'm like, cool, but uh, it would suck to see that thing blow itself up. So if you're saying you don't have a ton of money to throw at it, put a stock bottom end on it and only turn it out to 7 or 8,000 RPMs, keep it safe. Aardvark, United Motorsports in Connecticut is awesome. Yeah, I was gonna say United Motorsports, reach out to them. I just don't know what the hell's going on. I'm not keeping tabs on the current situation with flash tuning and defeating stuff like that. I'm actually currently working on doing a video for all the evap hoses for Mark IV 1.8T. So I'm actually focusing on the other end of it, making these motors sustainable. Somebody sent me a prototype kit for all the evap hoses for 1.8T. So I expect in the next month I should be able to start working on that and changing out all the evap hoses and film it. And big thing for the California guys who can't get away with just deleting their emission systems and coding it out. It's not an option anymore. New York's not far behind, and I won't be surprised if we start to see more states cracking down on deleting your emission stuff off of your cars, which is really fucking sad. But um, Waterfest when it was at Purchase and Montclair. How about when Waterfest was at RCC? Never made it there, but I didn't find out about that until after I moved away from Spring Valley, which was right down the road from where Waterfest was first held. Um, Going into a 69 Baja Beetle. Okay, yeah. So reach out to United Motorsports. Ethan, thanks for jumping on, dude. Thanks for submitting some questions, man. It was good hanging out with you. Um, it was awesome to have you in here. Thanks for contributing and helping make this happen. So I think on that note, we're gonna do one more check on Instagram, see if anybody else submitted any questions, and then oh, fuck. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. I think that's a wrap. I don't think I missed anybody. Cool. Yeah, guys, thanks for joining in. Oh, wait, there's also this thing. I don't think there's any questions submitted. Oh, did I place an order for the RML Snowflakes 15 by 7? Okay, so I just opened up the question section on here. Will asks, is it worse to be a hater or a stan? Which we answered back already. Did you place an order for RML Snowflakes 15 by 7 or 8? I did place an order for them, and I went with the 15 by 7s because the 8s would be too wide for any of the Mark 1s. So we ordered a 15 by set of 15 by 7s. I feel like we shouldn't have. I feel like I didn't need to, but I didn't want to miss out on them and be regretting not buying them. So yeah, we'll see. Um, I'm excited to get them though. So if you guys didn't get in there, let's help this guy out with the pre-orders. Go check out RML Snowflakes on Instagram. Get yourself a set of these. I think we're getting close to them being sold out. So be dope to help this guy recoup his money from what's a thankless job at the end of the day. Which state am I moving to? I'm staying in New York. I'm just going upstate. So, all right, guys, I think that's it. Double check the live chat. Yeah. All right. Thank you everybody for jumping on. I think I don't know if we'll do this monthly. I think monthly is way too frequently, but maybe we'll do twice a year. I think for sure we'll do. Let's just lock into Thanksgiving Eve. We'll jump on here, talk about the channel's progress, where we've come, what we're gonna do, and do the same thing. Just do like a yearly question and answer. If there's enough interest in it, we'll do another 6 months from now. But I definitely like the idea of every year jumping on here Thanksgiving Eve and hanging out with people, giving people a chance to throw some questions at me, and other people watching. Um, cool. All right, guys. Hope everybody has a good night, a good day tomorrow. Don't drink and drive. Do not fucking drink and drive, people. Call a friend, Uber, or waking up your friend or cousin at 3 in the morning is a lot cheaper and less annoying to deal with than a DUI, or worse, ending up dead or killing somebody else. So don't drink and drive, but go have fun and show everybody some thanks over the next few days, because that's what this holiday is supposed to be about. It's a good time to hang out and show appreciation to your friends and homies and family. See you guys later. How do I end this thing? There we go. Bye.